Hello everyone, welcome to Tier 2. Another good race ahead at Canada. As always, if you'd like to skip ahead to the race, then feel free. We're going to be around about 10 minutes until the race starts. Well, until qualifying anyway, so if you'd like to skip forward, feel free. I'm just going to get everything set up and I'll be right back with you. Rick, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, mate. It clearly says round 3 on my screen. I copy-pasted the title, so... Yeah, I had nothing to do with it. It heard you and decided to fix itself. So thanks for that. That's 12 out of 16. We should have 15 at the very least. Oh, Shoy's is in, so we should have 16. Which is a good grid today. Let me get all my stuff up. Where's my spreadsheet? Unfortunately, Harass can't be here today, championship leader, so that's going to blow the championship wide open. So Bumblebee, Madman Ollie Oliver and LB are the ones to watch today, and Mitch will be hoping to get back into it after missing last week as well. Be a good race. 3 more, yeah, shouldn't have 3 more coming. Let's see who they are. Make that 2. Let's see if the McLarens can finish the race this time. James McCrow has accidentally clicked spectator. Right, who haven't we got? We've got you, we've got you, we've got you. It's in. Crozer is in. Miliano is in. LB is in. Bumblebee is in. Alex is in. QB is in. Hartman is in. One Wayne is in. Rick is in, Mitch is not in, and Schweizer is in. So we're just waiting for Mitch. I'm just going to ping James McCrow. double McLaren DNF wouldn't surprise me anymore. No, have faith, Rick. They will do it. They can score some points today. I believe in them. We're just waiting on Mitch, but it's alright, there's 5 minutes until we get going anyway. Turn all live chat on. Oh, poor Pommy Alex. I believe in you, Alex, you can do it. Oh, Mitch is in. Alright, we've got everyone. So, 4 minutes until we get going. I would just go straight away, but I think it's best to wait until the scheduled time, so people can join us if they want to watch. But not too long to go. By the way, today Sumo will be joining us about halfway through the race, I think. So yeah, with qualifying and then race start, yeah, he'll join about halfway through the race. So yeah, and as Rick says, remember to record your races, everyone. We really don't like giving out race bans for people not recording. It's just a terrible reason to get a race ban, so just do it. Alright. Good grid today. 16 people. Only missing 5 permanent drivers? Oh no, because Schweizer became a permanent driver, so we're only missing 4. Base Pistol, Saki Bene, the usual. Fragile Tunnel couldn't make it. And who's the other one? Oh, Harass, of course. I swear, Saki Bene just turns up for the first race of the season and then never comes back. Oh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it, Alex? Get some rain in here. It is on dynamic, isn't it? Wrong one. Whatever. Yeah, it's on dynamic, okay. Phew! Everything's right, it should be, because I just reloaded my saved game from last week. Alright. I'm on spectator, good. Okay. We're not waiting for anyone, we're just waiting for the clock. That's it. So, yeah, 20 seconds to go. You can ready up as soon as it hits the time. Oh, go on. Everyone ready up as soon as it hits past. Go on. Oh. Alright. 9 people watching. Welcome all. It's Tuesday, and the only thing that means is that Tier 2 is back for round 3. After grid jump started. Yeah, that's drive-throughs for 8 people, I think, for readying up before past. You have to serve them as soon as the race starts. Yes, welcome everyone to Tier 2. It's Tuesday night, so Tier 2 is back. And it's back better than ever with a championship with 4 drivers all within 1 point at the top of the standings. So it's looking like a very exciting championship so far. Hopefully we can continue that here in Canada, otherwise known as the Track Limits Grand Prix, with several corners very, very easy to overextend on, particularly the last chicane, where I've seen many drivers get penalties, invalidate laps, etc, etc. It's not just the Wall of Champions that's the dangerous part about that corner. So we'll be looking at that today, looking at penalties, because I would wager this race will be won and lost on penalties for track limits. So keep an eye out for that. It looks like, I think that's VKTFO is the first car on the track. So here we go. Qualifying in Canada is underway, and we're going to ride on board with KTFO as he comes around the track. So it's a tough track, this. I mean, that would have been an invalidation straight up, as you can see by the red outline of the track in the bottom right. But yeah, it's a tricky one, this. You've got to be careful, stay inside track limits, and it's very easy to DNF here, especially when you're trying to overtake people. Hopefully people stay sensible today, because this is a very difficult track to overtake cleanly on. You do see a lot of collisions on this track, so hopefully everyone's sensible today, and hopefully we don't get any silly crashes. But I wouldn't be surprised to see 1 or 2 end up in the wall of their own doing. So here we go, KTFO. It's a short lap, only about 1 minute and 10 seconds. But here comes KTFO, and immediately DNFs from the session. Oh no, KTFO, you can't help but laugh, because the McLarens just have not had a good time so far. But we'll ride on board with Mitch. The winner of race 1, he's come out on the soft tyres to start his first lap, after winning in Portugal. He nearly bottled it. He did bottle it. The only reason he won the race was because of post-race penalties. So he was about 2 laps from the end, about 10 seconds clear of everyone else, and spun around at turn 8 and nearly bottled the win. But he did manage to get it. Unfortunately, he missed last week, so he couldn't stay at the top of the standings, but I have no idea what happened to that car then. Williams just went straight on. That must have been Emiliano. Maybe Emiliano realised that the Red Bull was coming up. But yeah, so he's back for race 3, hoping to get back up the standings. He's about, I think, 16 or so points down from the lead, but here he comes. It's a 1 minute 10.007, very, very close to that sub 1 minute 10 barrier, but there's the first lap from Mitch. Aston Martin comes across the line. LB only does a 1 minute 12.5, so he must have been he must have made a mistake somewhere. Someone's lost it in sector 3. It looks like, oh no, I think it's the Ferrari. Oh yeah, it was definitely the Ferrari. Not sure which Ferrari. It was TTV Max has spun off at the end of sector 3. Is anyone on a lap? It looks like Madman Ollie Oliver's on a lap. As Crozer comes across the line with a 1 minute 10.8. Emiliano has retired from the session, unfortunately, so he'll be starting at the back with KTFO. But Madman Ollie Oliver has invalidated, so we're right on board with Bumblebee, who's on the mediums for his first lap, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes out. One Wing has done a lap on the mediums, Bumblebee's teammate, so both Alfa Romeos on the mediums for their first laps. One Wing's done an 11.1, so let's see if Bumblebee can beat that as he comes up to the final chicane. And keep an eye on Rick as well, because he's coming across the line on mediums, and he does a 1 minute 10.9. So he's right up there on those mediums. Here comes Bumblebee. 10.6 beats him out on those mediums. That's a great lap from Bumblebee. So Mitch holds on to pole for now, but people are improving. No less so Madman Ollie Oliver, who invalidated his first lap. So here he comes for his second attempt. That looked fairly clean. You've got to really commit into turns 3 and 4 there. It's very difficult to do without invalidating or going wide, but you lose so much time through those two corners if you don't fully commit to them. But here comes Ollie Oliver through turns 8 and 9 up towards the hairpin of turn 10. You've got to brake just after the 100 boards and try not to lock up. Very, very easy to do there, but it looks like Ollie Oliver's traversed it quite well. Down he comes up towards the final chicane, DRS open. Very long straight here. This is where you're going to see people trying to overtake, but it's very difficult to go side by side into the chicane, so you've got to be so careful. Here comes Ollie Oliver. He doesn't invalidate. That was good there. Comes across the line. It's going to be a 10.4 and goes P2. So Mitch keeps pole for now. But people are improving, and I would definitely expect people to go into the 1 minute 9s here. Here's Pommy Alex. His teammate's not here in the other Mercedes today, of course. Harass, the championship leader and reigning champion of Tier 2. But Pommy Alex hoping to do Mercedes proud. But he's out on the softs here. He comes towards the final chicane. Don't invalidate Alex. He's done it quite well. I think that was quite safe, though. He took that. He didn't want to invalidate the lap. He just wanted to get one down. And it's a 1 minute 10.8. And he goes P4 for now. But that lap from Bumblebee on the mediums, the more and more soft runners that finish behind it, the better and better that lap's looking. So it'll be interesting to see if Bumblebee comes out again, or if he leaves it. Ollie Oliver's going to be coming in. Is Schweizer on a lap? It looks like it. In the other Alpine, Hartmann finally has a teammate. He hasn't been able to have a teammate for the first few races this season, but here comes Schweizer across the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 12.3 for him for now. We'll keep an eye on LB. Here he comes through Sector 1. Small improvement, but he must have made a mistake somewhere, because you'd expect LB to be at the front and not 2.5 seconds down. So here he comes through Sector 2. He had to lift off a bit there. That wasn't too clean, but he comes up to the hairpin. He's 3.5 tenths up as he comes to the hairpin. Round he comes. And now coming up to the final chicane. DRS open, down the straight he goes. Needs to nail this, get a good lap out. What can he do? He breaks in towards it and takes it very safely, I think. He could have definitely gone over that a bit more, and he comes across the line. It's a 1 minute 10.7, so maybe LB isn't too much of a fan of Canada, as opposed to the other tracks he's been on, but I think we're yet to see him at his best. Here comes Harry Bix across the line to finish his first lap. And it's a 1 minute 10.4, and he goes P2 just ahead of Ollie Oliver, but then Ollie Oliver... that's hard thing. That's a hard name to say 3 times in a row. I think I'll just call him Madman. Madman comes across the line and goes P2 for now with a 1 minute 10.2. So Mitch's first lap is looking better and better as more and more people come across the line. And they are competing for lap records. We haven't gone around Canada in APPF1 yet this season, so every fastest lap will be a lap record. So Mitch holds it for now. Harry Bix, is he on another lap? No, he's not. Let's keep an eye out for people on laps. LB's done 3 laps on those, he's not going to be on one. Crows is invalidated. James McCrow is on a lap on the mediums. He's gone 9/10 faster through Sector 2. And that, if he can do a 1 minute 10.1 on the mediums, that is incredibly impressive from James McCrow. Sorry, a 1 minute 10.3. Mitch does a 1 minute 9.5 and blows everyone else out of the water, 7/10 clear of everyone else as James McCrow comes into the pits, in fact, so he wasn't improving as much as he looked like. Must have been a bug on the game's end. Here comes Rick on an outlap. So let's ride on board with the young Dutchman. I know he'll like me calling him that. As he comes up to turn 1, take it quite fast and in towards turn 2. Here he comes. You've got to commit to turn 3 and 4, and he does. He had to lift off a little bit though, so there's time to be gained. But as he comes in, he's 8/10 up on his previous lap. So Rick must have had a poor first sector on his first lap, so he's looking to make up for that now. As he comes onto sector 2, to turns 8 and 9 again, you've got to commit fully. You've got to go straight through turn 8. And commit straight to turn 9, full throttle as soon as you're off the brakes. But here he comes towards turn 10, the hairpin. Traverses it quite nicely. It's very easy to gain and lose a lot of time through the hairpin. But here he comes past the Red Bull. On towards the final chicane. What can Rick do? Don't invalidate Rick. He's done it quite well. Round he comes. DRS open. What can he do? It's a 1 minute 9.8. He's the second driver to get into the top, the sub 1 minute 10s. I'm assuming Lawson Bowles is LB, so welcome to the chat, LB. And yeah, I figured, given that you're not at the top as like you usually are, so it's tough when you've got a track you really don't like, isn't it? So I'm rooting for you, mate. Hopefully you can get up the grid. Looks like Harry Bix is starting a lap, or did he just finish one? No, he's starting one, so here he comes through turn 2. That was a bit close with the car in the pit lane, but luckily they avoided each other. As he invalidates through turn 3, very, very easy to do. LB has left the session, so I don't know if he wants another invite. I might just try and get him another invite, just in case. LB, oh no, he's joined apparently, so I can't get him back, but hopefully he can find his way back. Pommy Alex is invalidated. Schweizer is on a lap and he's improving. 4/10 up through sector 1. Coming up to the end of the sector 2 and up to the hairpin, he's 6/10 up. So Schweizer really improving, but he broke very early for the hairpin there. That was not very committed from the Alpine driver, but he's new to APPF1, so we're always rooting for the newbies. And just see what QB can do as well after his week out last week. Here comes Schweizer, doesn't invalidate but has to turn twice, hits the wall of champions, comes up to the line. It's a 1 minute 11.6. He improves, but not his position. So Schweizer will be looking to go out again to improve. Hartmann is still in the pits, so he's not going to be improving or setting a lap for now. I did notice he didn't ready up either, so maybe something's happened. But regardless, Madman Ollie Oliver is on a lap. He needs to get into the sub 1 minute 10s if he wants to challenge for pole in that Haas. But Randy comes. Mitch, of course, on pole today at the moment. Good to see LB back in the lobby. But yeah, Mitch at the moment on pole today, but he's also the APPF1 Sprint Championship leader at the moment. So there's a lot going on there. Oh, that's a blockage from the cars in front of Ollie Oliver. Disaster for him. It was QB and the Ferrari, I think it was, in his way, and I think we're going to be seeing a steward's report of that later. Hopefully he can go and set another lap. But here comes James McCrow. It's the end of his lap, my teammate in Tier 1 and in sprints. Not in Tier 1, just the sprints, I think. Here he comes, 1 minute 10.1 from James McCrow, and puts in P3. Great lap from him. And where's he in the championship, James McCrow? He's currently P5 in the championship, just 7 points behind the leaders of Bumblebee, Madman and LB, so he's going to be looking to make up some ground on the championship today, James McCrow. And with pace like that, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do so. Ollie Oliver has invalidated, so he's going to be coming round again. I'm not sure if he's going to have time though. Such a shame for him. I think we're definitely going to be seeing that in the stewards later. But here's QB on a lap. Can he improve? Very minimalist helmet design of the black and pink stripe. And he brakes very early for turn 10, the hairpin. But he traverses it. And on he comes onto the straight. What can he do up to the final chicane? And those softs, again, he's being very cautious, I think. He just wants to not bin the car, so he's not going to improve on this lap. Schweizer is in the wall by the looks of things, so that's unfortunate for him. Is Ollie Oliver going to come onto another lap? It looks like it. He's going to have one more attempt, so interesting to watch him. And Mitch and Rick are on out laps as well, so I'm keeping an eye on the mini-map for them, and also Harry Bix. As he comes, he's 4 tenths up through Sector 2, if we are to believe that on the top right. Here he comes. He traversed the chicane very nicely, I think. It comes down 1 minute 9.7, just 2 tenths behind pole position, and he goes P2 for now, so takes that front row spot from Rick in the Ferrari. So can Harry Bix sustain that pace in the race? We'll have to see. But it looks like Rick and Mitch are getting onto laps. Rick is just behind Mitch, so Mitch is holding him up, I think deliberately here. There's some shenanigans going on here, I think. Crozer's retired from the session. There's only 10... there's not very long to go in the session, and Rick's not going to make it over the line. Is Mitch going to make it over the line? Yes, just about. So Mitch gets one more lap, and I don't think Rick's going to be too happy about that. I think there might have been some shenanigans going on there, deliberate or not, but I don't think Rick's going to be too happy about that. Looks like Bumblebee is indeed staying on the pits. On the pits? In the pits. Going out in the mediums. Same for One Wing. Mitch has aborted that lap, so we won't be seeing him improve. Rick is obviously not on a lap at the moment. Pommy Alex isn't on a lap. Is Ollie Oliver on a lap? Yes, he is. So Madman is the only one, I think, who can dethrone Mitch from pole position. He was 2/10 up in Sector 1 from what I saw. Those softs are 3 laps old though, so he will struggle in the race. But here comes the Haas driver. He's currently P4 in the championship. He's just under 2/10 up on the second sector, so he's going to need a monstrous third sector to challenge Mitch for pole. He's at least going to want to get into the front 2 rows. The man in P3 in the championship, I just checked. So can he gain some ground? Round he comes around the final chicane, and he pushed a bit too hard. He was really going for it there, and he does invalidate his lap. He caught the car well, but it has been invalidated, and that will be it for qualifying. So Mitch is going to be your pole man, with Harry Bix in the McLaren taking the other front row spot from just 0.003 of a second from Rick in the Ferrari. So very, very close between them two. Pommy Alex in P4, he'll be very happy with that. I didn't even see that. He set another sub 1 minute 10. So that's 4 drivers into the 1 minute 9s, and Pommy Alex takes P4. I think he'll be very happy with that. Well done, Alex. So there we go. There's your grid for race number 3 of this Tier 2 season. Mitch is on pole with Harry Bix in P2. Rick just 0.003 behind in P3, but Harry Bix has got a 5-place grid penalty for I think it was for a collision with Crozo. I thought it was for some reason I tuned out and thought it was a 5-second penalty, but no, of course it's a 5-place grid penalty. So Rick will be on the front row. Harry Bix will go down to 7th. Pommy Alex, that means, gets promoted up to P3 on the grid. James McCrow P4, Ollie Oliver P5, Bumblebee will be P6 on the mediums. That's crucial. One wing as well on the mediums, down in P9. But yeah, very interesting qualifying here. The 2 Alfa Romeos, you're going to be wanting to watch them starting on the mediums. And of course Mitch is looking extremely fast, so we'll have to see what happens, but it's going to be Mitch and Rick locking out the front row. So of course our championship leader Harass isn't here today, but Bumblebee, so Bumblebee is effectively the championship leader today. He's 1 point ahead of Madman and LB, who's self-admitted that this isn't his favourite track, so he's just going to perhaps be looking for damage control here and get up the grid if he can, but if he can't, it's not one of his favourite tracks anyway. James McCrow as well, only 7 points down on the championship lead, and he's going to be lining up in P4 on the grid. And then Pommy Alex and One Wing as well in the mix, as well as Mitch, of course, with his 20 points from race 1. So here we go, off the grid they go for the formation lap. What are your predictions in chat? What do you think is going to happen? Where do you see the podium panning out at the end of this race? 35 laps of Canada, it's a long one, and it's going to require a lot of endurance, and track limits penalties are probably going to decide this race. They always do in Canada, so keep an eye out for that. Of course, the 2 Alfa Romeos on mediums, but everyone else has gone for soft to start off the race. Let's enable all of that, and I think we're ready to go. So are we going to see any formation lap shenanigans, I wonder? Is Mitch going to slow everyone down? Some mind games in the formation lap? I do love a bit of formation lap mind games myself. QBP1 from Scott. Fingers crossed. We all want it to happen. By the way, guys, if my mic has like feedback issues constantly and it's just constantly not working properly and things are happening, then please tell me, because I can fix it just by unplugging and plugging it back in. So it does happen occasionally. So yeah, but yeah, Harry Bix demoted to 7th after that grid penalty. But here we go, up to the start of the Canadian Grand Prix for Tier 2. 35 laps of the Gilles Villeneuve circuit. No rain, it looks like, at least for now. KTFO has already spun. Was that KTFO or was that Harry Bix? It is KTFO. He's already spun on the formation lap. That's not a good sign. But yeah, we want the McLarens to score points today. They've struggled in the last 2 weeks, so hopefully they can get it sorted. But here we go. 5 red lights. And we're away. There's a little bit of a delay because of the spectator hosting the lobby. But we're off. Finally, Mitch gets a good start off the line. And Pommy Alex gets a fantastic start down the inside into turn 1 of Mitch. And Mitch has the inside for turn 2. But can Pommy Alex make the move stick? Yes, he can for now. But Mitch is going to have the inside into turn 3. Can Pommy Alex keep it round? KTFO's retired from the session already. He didn't even make it 3 corners, but it is Mitch who leads the way after a fantastic start and challenge from Pommy Alex. And we've got a VSC out for the retirement of the McLaren. Oh, KTFO. Zach says Rick to win. Mitch spins on lap 3. James P2 with Pommy Alex P3. I'll keep that in mind, Zach. But it's Mitch who leads the way for now. That was a fantastic start from Pommy Alex. From P3 on the grid, just got straight down the inside of Mitch up to turn 1. And looks like Rick has been one of the biggest losers here. Down 3 positions from the start. He did not get a good getaway at all. But Crozer, looks like he must have had a bit of an issue on the start as well. He's all the way down to P15, but we're on the way again as Mitch leads us up to the chicane. Everyone's getting through with no issues for now. Someone's into the pits already. Is that Emiliano is into the pits? Okay. And there's another VSC. Interesting. What's happened? Is there debris on the track? What's going on? Did Emiliano accidentally come into the pits? He's having a front wing change, but anyway, the VSC's gone now. I'm not sure what happened there, but here comes James McCrow. He's had a little look around the outside of Pommy Alex. Will start riding on board now as they come into this little complex of Sector 2. And Madman Ollie Oliver is also looking at the back of the AlphaTauri, looking to make up positions. And don't forget about Rick as well in the Ferrari. He showed his pace in qualifying. So he'll be looking to make his way up the grid. Harry Bix as well after his grid penalty. But everyone in single file at the moment. It is a tough track to overtake on. So let's change this to the tyres. Emiliano's gone on to another set of the softs as James McCrow goes down the inside of Pommy Alex. He's used a lot of ERS to do it. It's going to be tight as they get to the chicane, and yeah, it's always going to happen if you go side by side into the final chicane at Canada. And Mitch sets the fastest lap, but James McCrow all the way down to P8. TTV Max is into the pits. He probably has some damage of some kind. LB now sets the fastest lap. But we're on to lap 3. Madman on the back of Pommy Alex now, who's been looking pretty strong on this track at the moment. Nearly got into the race lead, but now Mitch has just sped away, and at the moment he's just running away with it. But Pommy Alex has got a lot of pressure now from Ollie Oliver, who's looking to go down the inside perhaps. You don't want to do that towards turn 8. Pommy Alex gets a bit of a moment out of turn 9, but they're coming up to the hairpin. There's Rick and Bumblebee as well, and the mix on the medium tyres. Keep an eye on that, and also One Wing is going to be looking to keep with this train of cars. It's all aboard the Pommy Alex train. Thanks for that line, Zach. As they come into the chicane, Ollie Oliver's doing the same thing that James McCrow tried. Is it going to work for him? Yes, it is. Pommy Alex is forced wide through the second turn of the chicane, and now he's just shipping positions left, right and centre. Bumblebee now goes down the inside. Pommy Alex tries to hang it round, and you've got a battle up ahead between the Ferrari and the Haas as well. Pommy Alex, a little bit of contact through turn 2. It's such a difficult track to keep all together and to keep it composed. That'll be a warning for Bumblebee, as LB already gets himself a 3-second time penalty. You're going to quickly see why this is also known as the Track Limits Grand Prix. As Rick now has DRS coming up to turn 8. He goes round the outside. Can he hold it round the outside? He goes off the track to do it, but Ollie Oliver's going to keep that position as a result. As Rick is really on the back of the Haas now. He wants to go and chase after Mitch. After his qualifying pace looked like it was strong, as Bumblebee gets down the inside of Pommy Alex as well, and Pommy Alex tries to hold it, and now he's got Harry Bix on the inside, and Pommy Alex is just going down and down the grid now as Harry Bix gets the move done before the corner and brakes too late, and he's taken out Bumblebee. Oh, disaster between those two. It was I'm not going to say whose fault it was on stream, but I'm sure the stewards will be having a look at that. As Pommy Alex, 2 free positions for him, as Rick does get past Madman during the commotion. But yeah, Harry Bix, I think he's trying to get back into the pit lane, and now he's been disqualified for going the wrong way. So 0 points for McLaren again, everyone. It's such a shame, but guys, Harry, you can't go the wrong way, and KTFO, you've got to be patient on lap 1. So double DNF for McLaren again, unfortunately, but there we go. That is what it is. And now it's these 3, Rick, Madman and Pommy Alex, and LB's in the mix as well, just behind. But he does have that 3-second penalty. But round they come, round the hairpin, and Ollie Oliver's going to have DRS up to the final chicane. Is he going to use any battery? No, he's not. He doesn't want to. He doesn't really want to overtake here, but he might have no choice with the overspeed. He does back out of it very sensibly. You don't at all want to be anywhere near going wheel to wheel through the last chicane. You want to get the move done before the chicane, but just as I say that, Crozer's looking to do exactly that on QB, but he doesn't quite have the speed to do it, and also backs out. Schwazer's got himself a 3-second time penalty as well. So we've got the Rick train, followed by what is now the Bumblebee train, as Hartman gets overtaken by the man on the mediums. So Alfa Romeo currently in P6 and 7. I think, who was it that Harry took out? It was One Wing or Bumblebee? I think it was Bumblebee. So Bumblebee's making his way back up the grid, about 10 seconds down from that train. Does he have front wing damage? He might well do, but I'm not too sure, as this train comes down through the hairpin. They're still going. It's just everyone right on the back of each other here. It's so close between them, but again, it's Canada. You just can't, if you don't have a huge amount more pace than everyone else, you're not going to be able to overtake without taking you and or the other driver out, especially at that final chicane, as we've seen already. But Pommy Alex has spun at the last chicane. He's become a victim of the Wall of Champions. He's trying to do what Harry Bix did. Be careful, Pommy Alex. Don't get disqualified. He's been disqualified. Don't do it, guys. Don't try it. You're just going to get disqualified. Oh, disaster for Pommy Alex. It was looking so good. But he's now been disqualified for doing exactly the same as Harry Bix tried to do. And we're down to 12 runners in this race already. But still no safety cars as of yet, so that's a good thing at least, as Rick has got a lot of overspeed on Ollie Oliver. He looks to the inside, but you're not going to get that done. Madman does leave him space, to be fair to him, but Rick, you've got to be patient. Wait until the DRS, get a good exit out of this hairpin. He's right behind the Haas, sniffing the gearbox of Madman's car as he comes around the hairpin. He doesn't get as good an exit though. Madman nails the hairpin, and that could mean that he keeps the place from Rick. He's not using any battery, so Rick is going to speed straight past now with that overspeed, and Madman just lets him through and brakes too late. He was going into the pit lane, and that's what happens at that final chicane. There's so many incidents there. It doesn't matter how good your league is, how talented any of the drivers are. there's always going to be incidents of that last chicane. It just breeds incidents. The fact that you have to go straight on for the pit lane, the fact that you can't go wheel to wheel through there without something happening, it's just a nightmare in any league. So these guys struggling with it as well. And we haven't seen too many penalties as of yet, but I would imagine there's going to be a few more to come. So Ollie Oliver comes out on the mediums. So he's going to be looking to do a 2-stop. I wonder if the Alfa Romeos are going to try a 1-stop. Bumblebee, I think, does have damage because he is losing a lot of time to one wing, so he's in damage control mode right now. As LB on the back of Rick now. Rick starting to struggle on those softs, and one wing is right with them as well, just waiting for something to happen. As LB isn't using any battery. He doesn't really want to overtake here, but he kind of has to with the overspeed. Can he make the move stick? Yes, he can, because Rick's coming into the pits. So LB is going to take the lead. Is he? No. Yes, he is. Okay, Mitch also into the pits. So LB now takes the lead for now in the Aston Martin. TTV Max gets himself a 3-second time penalty. Mitch and Rick both out the pits on mediums. As Bumblebee now gets himself a 3-second time penalty as well. So his car's in the pit lane being overtaken. Rick and QB as well. Rick's gone onto the mediums. QB can't see quite yet, also gone onto the mediums. So most people going for a 2-stop here, it looks like. As Rick on the back of Hartman, on the back of Bumblebee as well. And Rick's just come out right behind Hartman, and this is not good. He needs to clear the Alpine as soon as possible. Goes down the inside through turn 5. That's risky. Oh, and Hartman gets a little tap of the wall on exit as well. I think Hartman might have had damage already. Schweizer gets a 3-second time penalty. So here come the penalties. Here they come. Alex, haha, I tried it. Yeah, mate. Harry Bix got disqualified for doing exactly the same thing, so you're not alone. But here comes Rick down the inside of Bumblebee through the chicane. He's got a lot more grip on those fresh mediums, and here he comes down the straight. He's going to have DRS. He's going to use any battery, is he? No, he's not. He knows he can get the move done. Bumblebee doesn't have anything left in the tank, and Rick gets that move done, and Bumblebee peels off into the pit lane. So Rick now with clean air to chase after Mitch. There's 8 seconds to make up. It's going to be tricky, but if anyone can do it, it's Rick. He's got a lot of pace, and Madman now sets the fastest lap on those fresh mediums as Bumblebee comes out on another set of mediums. So he's going to be doing a 2-stop as well. Oh, pardon me. I think, obviously, I think he might have been trying the 1-stop, but I think he did have damage, and he had to... he just couldn't deal with it anymore, so he has come into the pits now for another fresh set. But here is one wing. He's still on that alternate strategy. It's so interesting to see what he's going to do here. Hartman and LB, the only two on softs that are still out since the start of the Grand Prix. As I think that was QB got himself a 3-second time penalty, as LB now peels into the pits. So one wing will now lead the race on those mediums. And it's going to be crucial to not get penalties on this track. As Mitch now sets the fastest lap on those fresh mediums, to no one's surprise. Where's LB going to come out? Is he going to come out ahead of Rick? It could be close, but I think Rick's going to have the better of him. There is the Ferrari in front. Where's it going to be? And LB comes out just behind the Ferrari. So Rick does make the undercut work. And he has jumped LB in the pits, so he's going to be hoping that he can extend the gap to the Aston Martin now. It doesn't look like he's catching Mitch, as James McCrow gets himself a 3-second time penalty. Hartman is into the pits again? Has he already been in the pits? No, okay, that is his first stop. So the penalty situation, TTV Max with 8. Hartman with 5, Schweizer with 6, and QB, Bumblebee, James McCrow, Madman, and LB all with 3 at the moment. So keep an eye on those penalties. It could well decide positions in this race. I think Mitch is just leagues ahead of everyone else on this track. So unless he bottles it again like he did in Portugal, I don't expect him to be caught today. But fair play to him. As One Wing still currently leads the race, but that gap is being eaten into by the Red Bull. And eventually One Wing's going to come in. I wonder if he's going to go onto the hards. I wonder if he's going to do the one-stop. I'd be surprised if that wasn't his plan, to be honest, with starting on the mediums. As Bumblebee gets past Hartmann, it looked like, on the straight leading up to the final chicane. But he is very low on battery, with Hartmann still on 100%. Hopefully he's fixed his ERS button today, because it wasn't working last week. Did a 50% earlier today with no penalties. Yeah, it's... You can easily gain like 3-4 positions if you just finish with no penalties on this track. And you looked so fast as well, Alex, today, so that's such a shame. But yeah, that's just the way it goes. You took a risk, and it didn't pay off. But back next week. Hopefully you can make up some ground, as Rick now sets the fastest lap, closely followed by LB, who does exactly the same. So that gap is now coming down to Mitch. I wonder if Mitch is conserving. He might be, but he does still only have 65% battery. Rick also on 65%, but LB on 100%. So LB, not his favourite track, was quite far down in qualifying on the top few, but here he is now, right on the back of Rick. Yes, he has a penalty, but he's keeping up with the Ferrari, and he's going to be looking for a top 2 finish, you've got to think, as Mitch now comes within 1 second of One Wing. He's going to have DRS on the straight. I wonder if One Wing's going to come in. I don't know what his plan is. So I'm just going to ride on board with Mitch just to see what One Wing does. Is he going to peel off? Yes, he is. So One Wing now comes into the pits on those mediums. And what tyres is he going to go on? What do the Alfa Romeo pit crew have? Do they have mediums or hards? Or mediums. They have softs or hards. They have another set of mediums, so he is going to do a 2-stop. And he's going to go onto the softs at the end. So One Wing is going to be fast towards the end of this race, so do keep an eye on him. He's currently P5. So let's have a look and see as things are calming down a bit. LB has gotten past Rick. I didn't notice that. It must have been on the main straight while I was watching One Wing, so sorry about that. But they're still right with each other, so while things are calming down a little bit, I'm just going to check where the standings are going to shake up from the current race standings as they are. So I think as it stands, LB will take the lead of the championship. He will drop to P3 as it stands with the penalty, so that would be 18 points, and he'll be all the way up to 52. So yeah, he should be in front, but Madman Ollie Oliver will not be far behind. Only 1 point as it stands, but Rick now goes around the outside up towards turn 1, and he makes the move stick before the corner. He goes a bit deep, but LB isn't close enough to take advantage. And these two, I think, are going to be battling all the way to the checkered flag. They look so similar on pace at the moment, and the only thing between them is LB's penalty. So if Rick can keep it on track and not get a penalty, he had a little bit of a slide there, it looked like, but he kept it on. But yeah, if Rick can keep it clean, then he should have P2 in the bag. But here comes LB again with the DRS, and the overspeed catches you out so much on this track. There's places where you really don't want to go for a move, and then the overspeed just comes in and you get closer and closer and closer. And before you know it, you're side by side into the braking zone and terrified. So you've got to be so careful and sensible on this track to not cause incidents with the cars you're battling. But this is the only battle on track at the moment, so LB just behind Rick, not using any battery. Rick is using a lot of battery to keep the Aston Martin behind, and LB sensibly conserving it to try and blitz past him at some point, but he does need to extend that 3 seconds as it stands. Maybe he's hoping that Rick will get another penalty eventually. But for now, it's not happening as James McCrow gets himself a 3-second time penalty. Are those hards of his going to go to the end? I don't think so. It might be tight. If he wants to do it, then he could do it, but it would be extremely risky, I would have to say. That's another sort of 20 laps. He'd have to do just over 30 laps on the hards, and tricky. I don't think he can do it, but I mean, Zach's been wrong about strategy before. It's very easy to say in the commentary box that you can't do a certain strategy, but on track it can be a completely different story. So we'll have to see what James McCrow does, whether he comes in for softs towards the end. But here comes LB now. Now he's using the battery. Here he comes down the inside of the Ferrari. I switched to the wrong car, but he's down the inside up to the chicane and gets the move done, and Rick has to concede that one, and now doesn't have any battery to battle with, as LB has the DRS up towards turn 1 as well. So Rick on the back foot now with less battery in the tank, but although LB does have that penalty, so if Rick can stay with him, just keep with him, don't get any penalties, and Rick could still find himself on P2 here. Surprised at no safety car. Yeah, me too. As Rick gets himself a 3-second time penalty just as I say it, and now he's going to be needing to chase after that Aston Martin, but LB's got so much battery, he's using it all to try and get Rick out of DRS range, but I don't think it's going to work, as he comes down the hairpin. Is Rick going to have DRS? 1 second is the gap, but I think he had it. Yes, he did on the DRS zone, so Rick has stayed with LB now as they come towards the chicane. So that's crucial for Rick, and LB used a lot of battery to try and get Rick a second behind him before the activation point, but he couldn't quite do it. Schweizer now gets himself another 3-second time penalty, but it's these two are the ones to watch. Come now, LB with a little bit of a moment. We'll go into spectator view now. There's not too much is happening. TTV Max gets himself another 3-second time penalty, but he's still riding well in 12th, and as long as he finishes the race, that's good points for Ferrari still. So keep it up, Max, and Emiliano the same as well. But here they come now into the hairpin. Rick almost pushing LB through the hairpin as they come onto the main back straight. Rick's going to have DRS up to the chicane, but he doesn't have any battery left. LB still has 60%, but he's not using any of it. Here comes Rick, will ride on board as LB. Is he going to concede the position? Yes, he is. He has to, as Rick goes through for P2 now. So a crucial move made by the Ferrari, but these two, they're still at it, as Bumblebee now on the back of Crozer. So we've got two battles going on now. Let's watch this one as the Alfa Romeo has DRS. He doesn't have much battery. Crozer has a lot more. Here comes Bumblebee. Can he make a move? No, he can't. Good defending from Crozer to shut Bumblebee out of making that move. Sumo is here, so I'm just going to send him an invite as soon as this battle is done. Bumblebee forced onto the grass, and Crozer into the wall and out of the race. That's going to be looked at by the stewards again, I'm sure, as Bumblebee carries on, but we do finally have a safety car, so this is a good time to invite you, Sumo.
Hello, yeah, I've just been watching that on the stream. Yeah, I just saw that crash. That did look very, very risky there, and I'm sure the stewards will be pondering that one for the rest of the evening. Hello, Tier 2, I'm back again, if not for only briefly. I do apologise for my recent absences.
No worries, mate. It's good to see you. Yeah, it's been a fairly topsy-turvy race so far. I don't know how much you've seen.
I've literally just seen the last lap or two.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just give you a bit of a rundown. So Mitch qualified on pole by quite a way. Rick was well, Harry Bix was P2, but he got a 5-place grid penalty for a collision. So he went down to P7. Rick was P2 after that, and Pommy Alex qualified in P3. LB was all the way down in P4 or 5. He's admitted this isn't his favourite track, but he is fighting with Rick for P2 today, even so. But the safety car is going to bring everyone back again. But yeah, and then a few things happened on lap 1. Someone spun, and then there was a VSC. A KTFO made it 2 corners before he retired.
Not another bad one for McLaren.
Yep, and then later on, Harry Bix went side by side with Bumblebee up to the final chicane, and obviously that's not going to end well. And I think it was Harry Bix just broke too late, and they both went flying off the track. Bumblebee carried on with a bit of damage. Harry Bix tried to go back across the track and back into the pit lane and got disqualified.
Oh dear.
So, and then Pommy Alex had a spin at the final chicane a bit later on, and then he tried to do the same and also got disqualified.
No.
So it was a big shame for him.
And it's always a topsy-turvy race at Canada. The balls are just so close.
Yeah, exactly. And there's just so many places. I was saying earlier, it seems like there's so many places to overtake, and the overspeed can really catch you out a lot of the time. But you've just got to be so careful and so patient on this track, because it can just so easily end in tears.
I'm just looking to look at the tyre strategies now. Sorry to cut you off, Ghost. One Ring has gone for the softs, and he sat in a prime position for this restart to challenge for the podium.
He is indeed. Both Alfa Romeos started on mediums, and they've both gone onto the softs here. So
actually, if it stays as it is right now, One Ring, because he has no penalties, will get second place.
Yeah, he will indeed. So let's have a look at the penalties as you say that. So Rick, LB, and Madman all on 3, as is Bumblebee and QB. James McCall on 6, TTV Max on 9, Schweizer somehow on 17.
Oh dear. Well, this is normally referred to as the Track Limits Grand Prix.
It is indeed.
As it is so easy to invalidate a lap here.
Yeah.
A time penalty, especially at all each of the chicanes actually, but more so that final chicane with the Wall of Champions there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. As Alex says in chat, the softs can definitely go to the end. They'll be a bit tattered by the last few laps, but they can go to the end. Hartman's had a spin, has he?
Has he had a spin?
I think he had a spin. He went down a few positions, so I'm not sure what happened there, but the safety car's coming in anyway.
Alright then, let's get back on board with Mitch, the effective safety car.
Yeah. So, safety car peels into the pits. When is Mitch going to punch it? Is he going to punch it before or after the chicane? Or during? To try and catch out the cars behind.
I'd say you'd have to go before or after. Personally, if I was leading this race, I would go afterwards just to try and catch as many people out as possible.
I'm going to ride on board with Rick to see what he's going to be seeing. As it looks like Mitch has gone now. He's gone just after the chicane. TTV Max somehow gets a time penalty.
It looks like Rick has managed to stay with Mitch, and he's going to be following him through the first sort of twisty section of the circuit.
He has
and
indeed.
They pulled away from the Aston Martin behind just a little bit there, but he's not too far back.
Yeah, QB had a poor start and lost 2 positions at the restart, but he's still going. And TTV Max, of course, and Emiliano well down, but James McCrow on the back of one wing here we're looking at, and they're all just so close to each other as we've been seeing throughout this race. LB is losing time to Rick, but Rick is now staying with Mitch. Mitch had an
8-second... disconnected.
Oh, he's disconnected. Oh, disaster. He was having connection issues earlier, so that's a disaster for the Aston Martin driver. He was looking so good today, but Rick is now trying to stay with Mitch. Mitch had an 8-second lead when the safety car came out.
I was going to spin at the back of Schweiz.
Yeah, Schweiz has spun again, and LB has indeed left the session, so hopefully he can get back in. Mitch sets the fastest lap to go with. Scott says, I believe Schweizer is an elitist, explains the penalties.
Yeah. Well, One Wing is right on the back of Madman Ollie Oliver now, so when that DRS is activated, he'll be in the prime position to make an attack.
He will indeed, and Rick's trying to make up that time on Mitch, but Mitch is just pulling away more and more. Mitch is just looking unbeatable on this track today.
He certainly is, yeah. He's pulled that gap out very quickly. It's almost 2 seconds after just 2 laps.
Yeah, and he's looking to bounce back after he couldn't make it to Tier 2 last week. And of course he's 15 points behind the championship leaders before this race, so he's going to be looking to make up as much of that time as possible. All of my interval gaps have gone, which is annoying, but
yeah, they've gone for me too.
Here comes One Wing. Is DRS enabled yet? No, it'll be next lap.
Not yet. It'll be this lap now. So One Wing is in a prime position to take second place if he can get past on that Ollie Oliver, and then go on to try and catch up to the Ferrari driver. So this is a good result for the Alfa Romeo. Yeah, DRS enabled. Here we go then. So onto after the second chicane, we'll see if One Wing can catch up.
The One Wing's already used a lot of battery. He's down to 35%, whereas Madman is still on 70%. So One Wing has really tried to stay with the Haas, but in doing so, he might have compromised himself for a possible overtake as DRS is now enabled.
Here we go then, he's got DRS from the activation point. Let's see if he can go down into the first chicane, or perhaps he's just going to catch up. Ollie Oliver trying to break the toe already, but he settles right back in. One Wing's just going to follow him through the chicane now and hope to get it done on the next straight.
James McCrow gets himself another 3-second time penalty, so that's going to cost him towards the race end. But here we come now as they come through the chicane. One Wing just behind Ollie Oliver. They both get good exits out of the hairpin. So here comes One Wing. He's going to have DRS, but is he going to have enough overspeed? He's using the battery. Madman isn't using any. Here comes One Wing. The overspeed's going to catch him out. He's going to have to back out. Surely he goes for the dive down the inside, and Madman is forced off the track.
Oh, but he does get himself that penalty though,
yeah,
so that's really going to mess him up there. Oh, and James McCrow's also gone for the move too.
Yeah, he takes full advantage of Madman's compromised exit out of the chicane and gets himself up into P4, but he does have 6 seconds. So he's going to be going down the field towards the end of the race if no one else gets penalties. But I mean, with 11 laps to go around Canada, with everyone pushing, someone's going to get more penalties, surely.
Is indeed. One thing as well for One Wing is that his tyres will fall off a little bit, perhaps. As we get in, so the medium runners may have a chance to come back at him. And with the penalty situation being as it is, these guys, a lot of these guys are racing. But James McCrow does have himself 9 seconds of penalties.
Oh, he has 9 seconds. I thought he had 6.
Yeah, 9 seconds now.
So he's going to be dropping all the way down to P7 or 8 as it stands, which is a shame for him. It's the same story as last time, as he gets a huge moment out of the hairpin. He just about manages to save the car. That was a good save from the AlphaTauri driver, but he has lost the position to Madman now. He gets another moment out of the final chicane as well. Goodness me.
Very sketchy, that one. It won't matter too much. It looks like the other Alfa Romeo's on the attack now as well onto James McCrow. Yeah,
Bumblebee sets the fastest lap, and he's on the attack on this this Madman train. Sorry, the One Wing train.
Again, the Alfa Romeo has not got much battery to work with here, and he's still got 9 laps to go. I'll be hoping that those soft tyres can carry him. As James has another moment now.
Oh my word!
And just loses the position. He must not be having a great time on those tyres, or perhaps he's just getting a bit handsy with the ERS. I'm not too sure, but I mean, doing that and it's losing him a lot of time.
Yeah, anything could be going on. He could have rear wing damage, or he could just be struggling on those tyres. But either way, he's really struggling at the moment, and he's just shipping positions and shipping penalties, and he's going to drop a long way. It's the same story as in Brazil last week. He did win the race on track, but penalties dropped him down to P3 in the end.
It looks like Bumblebee's catching up to Ollie Oliver here as well. And Mitch is just checked out, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Rick is trying his best, but he's not really got much in the tank. With that penalty as well, that gap, that is 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Technically, is actually now 5 seconds. As James
Yeah.
Foucault gets another time penalty.
Yeah, he's up to 12 seconds now. He's really struggling in this final stint. It was unfortunate for him, but Ollie Oliver on the back of one wing, as I wonder if when those softs are going to start sort of deteriorating, as Bumblebee is now back onto those 2. So what are the penalties like for them? They're all on 3 seconds. So this is 4 position between these 3, and the Alfa Romeo is looking very good. They're leading the Constructors' Championship before this race, and their closest rivals were Mercedes, and since Mercedes is scoring 0 today, Alfa Romeo could be miles ahead in the Constructors' Championship after this race.
Yeah, I must say Alfa Romeo have been very consistent on the first 3 races of this season, as one wing gets a little bit deep into that chicane. That's going to compromise them as they come down the straight now. So it looks like Madman's going to go on the attack. Yes, he is. He's going to tuck into the slipstream now. He's going to open up that ERS and DRS, and he's going to swoop down before the corner, is he? Yes, he's going to tuck in and before the braking zone and just take the corner. So that's a position for Madman. Ollie Oliver gets himself back onto the podium. But the Alfa Romeos aren't out of this fight just yet, but their tyres may be saying otherwise.
And now Bumblebee's having to go a look down the inside of his teammate, and oh, be careful guys, you don't want to throw away this result, as Bumblebee does in the end peel back behind, as James McCrow is DNF'd. He's out of the race. I think he might have retired in the pit lane or something.
Yeah, it looks like he's in the pit lane there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening to him. He was struggling in this last stint, so I don't know if he's called it a day, but that's a shame given the positive point system we have here. That's going to put him all the way down to 0, and he's going to be right out of the championship fight now, I think.
That is a shame. Yeah, he'll be kicking himself this week. But he's always got the next race to go.
Yeah, this fight between Bumblebee and Madman is huge, has huge championship implications at the moment, because Bumblebee is, before this race, 1 point ahead as he peels into the pits. Does he have damage? What's happened to Bumblebee?
I don't know, we'll watch him as he goes in. Keep an eye on those intervals as well. One ring is catching up to the Madman, so he might get him on the next DRS straight perhaps. He's going to go for a fresh set of soft tyres, no damage it seems, so he's going to try and gamble on this stop. He's going to hope that he's got enough pace to make up positions and maybe get past LB, who I think has rejoined the session now. So he'll be looking to try and make up as much time as he can. It's all damage control for the Aston Martin now.
Yeah, maybe he felt like he couldn't take the softs to the end. His teammate certainly looks like he's trying to, but I mean, we'll see if he comes in as well on this lap. But yeah, Bumblebee, as it stands, is going to lose the championship lead to Madman. And Mitch is looking to get back into the championship fight, of course. He's doing well. I'm not sure who has fastest lap, but that extra point can make all the difference towards the season end.
Rick must have had a moment or something, because the gap has dropped a little bit from the Haas to Rick, but now it's opening back up again, so maybe I've spoken too soon.
Yeah, I think he must have had a moment there. The gap certainly dropped to Mitch as well, or increased rather. One wing did have a little look on Madman up towards the final chicane, but he couldn't quite make it stick. And he's still behind the Haas for now, and gets himself another time penalty through turn 3. It's so easy to do there, and that's going to cost One Wing a shot at the podium here, unless of course Madman gets himself another penalty. LB's too far behind to take advantage, but yeah, not ideal for One Wing, and he's just going to be looking to make it to the end without losing too much time to LB on these tattered softs they're going to be by the end.
Yeah, One Wing will be hoping and praying that Madman gets himself that other penalty. It's very easy to do around here. But I think these guys are slowly edging closer to Rick. I'm not too sure. Madman is a bit of a messy hairpin there. But we'll have to keep an eye on that gap, because obviously Rick and Riley Oliver will be racing for position, but that gap is what's going to be keeping Rick safe. And Rick actually, 70% battery for the Dutchman.
Yeah, he's just conserving. He wants to get to the end. He knows he can't catch Mitch, so he's just going to try and conserve the car, get to the finish line, and secure P2 in his hunt to try and get back into the championship fight.
One Wing very close again. He might even try and force an error as Mitch goes deep as well. He's lucky to not get a penalty there, but I think the pressure might be getting to Ollie Oliver a little bit as One Wing seems to be driving to force that penalty out of the Haas driver.
Yeah, he might well be, as Bumblebee now unsurprisingly gets the fastest lap of the race, so that's going to be an extra point for him, but it will be interesting to see if he can catch up and overtake Hartmann before the end, but he does need to pull out another 3 seconds on the Alpine in order to get that position. But yeah, he's looking at P6 at best today with the fastest lap, so he is going to lose the championship lead. Unless One Wing can help him out.
Schweizer spun just out of the chicane, out the hairpin there.
As One Wing has a look round the outside to the final chicane. Oh, he's not quite close enough and has to back out and now loses a bunch of time as he takes a compromised line through the final chicane. He does have the DRS up to turn 1, but he's all out of battery, but so is Madman Ollie Oliver, so this is a really good fight between these two. And One Wing's going to have to come up with something special, I think, to get this podium.
Yeah, the trouble is with that chicane, if you're not alongside, then the move is never, ever, ever on. So you've always just got to grit your teeth and settle in behind the driver behind, and just hope that you can get a better exit and get the DRS down into turn 1.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, of course, One Wing has his 6 seconds of penalties.
Hartmann gets a penalty.
Hartmann gets a penalty, so that's huge for Bumblebee.
Now 4 tenths in, so he's going to be chasing him down for that penalty. But Hartmann's teammate Schweizer is actually giving him DRS for the lap car. But as he gets past now, he's losing it. So Bumblebee's going to be on the attack as the other Alpine goes for another bit of a moment and causes another yellow flag.
Yeah, One Wing had a huge moment on the exit of the hairpin. He managed to keep it.
Oh! Hartmann going deep, cost him a position as Bumblebee gets up the position beforehand, and it's just going to soar away now with DRS and try and catch up to LB. There's 6 seconds to close and 3 laps to do it, but on fresh soft tyres it is entirely possible.
Yeah, all it takes is a mistake from LB and Bumblebee will be right back there for those top 5 positions. He does have the fastest lap, of course, and I would be extremely surprised if anyone took it off him. Yeah, Hartmann paying the price for a poor go through the hairpin. I think he might have damage from that, does he? I'm going to look on spectator view, see if he has a no end plate. There's no visible damage to the car, but he is really struggling. He's going extremely slowly, so I'm not sure what's happened to Hartmann there. And at this rate, QB is going to catch him. But yeah, all the gaps have calmed down a bit now. So
yeah, One Wing has dropped way back now to 2.1 seconds. So those soft tyres really have gone off.
Yeah.
It was a good aggressive strategy, but just the medium tyres are able to hold out that little bit longer, as he's now got very, very little ERS in the tank.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to Hartmann here. He's going very, very slowly. It seems like the AI is driving for him. So I don't know if he's disconnected from the session or something, but either way, QB is catching up very, very quickly. So I wonder if QB can get himself a top 7 finish here, as Bumblebee is catching LB, but is it fast enough? It's 2 laps to go. The gap is just under 4 seconds. Maybe his pedal is broken. Yeah, maybe, Scott. Thanks for that flashback.
Yeah, he does seem to have a lot of understeer through some of these corners. He's taken a lot of them. He must have some sort of minor wing damage, perhaps. Perhaps when he went deep, he tapped the wall and damaged his front wing enough to cause this sort of damage. I mean, Canada is a very high downforce circuit in a lot of places. There's a lot of twisty chicanes that you need the car to just rip to. So the way he's taken his corners, he's definitely got some sort of issue. And at that time, the QB behind is just dropping back.
Yes, Yeah, just things calming down pretty much now as we're on to the final lap. Bumblebee is 3 seconds behind LB, but I don't think he's got the pace to catch up to the Aston Martin. So let's ride on board with Mitch for this last lap. He's been pretty much on his own the whole race, but he's been absolutely unbeatable today in that Red Bull, so fair play to him. He's going to get himself another win. And
ooh, another spin for Schweizer.
yeah.
Not having a good day. The Alpine.
21 seconds of penalties for TTV Max.
He's just out there driving his own race, without caring the world.
But, yeah, as wait, what on earth has happened? Why has one wing gone down? Huh?
Has he got damage? He might have had a spin, perhaps. That's a big moment. That's dropped it. That's dropped the Alfa Romeo way down. Doesn't look like he's got damage visibly.
Maybe he was letting his teammate through for the points, but because Bumblebee's further in the championship fight. But there we go. Mitch wins the Canadian Grand Prix. Sorry I didn't catch him over the line, but congratulations to the Red Bull driver. Absolutely unstoppable today. Rick takes P2. Madman Ollie Oliver takes P3 in the end. A good drive from him, and will he take the championship lead from that? Yes, he'll take the championship lead from Bumblebee on countback. So they'll be level on points after this race. So what a championship fight we have here. LB is going to be right with them as well. He's only going to be 2 points behind them, 2 or 3 points behind them. And Mitch and Rick as well, looking to get themselves back up the championship after having to miss one race each. But there we go, end of the race. A pretty chaotic Canadian Grand Prix. I think we're going to have a lot to look at in stewards today, Sumo.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, Canada always does come up with these sorts of things. And just one of those things, Hartman has popped in the chat. He went into AI to not let the lap cars ruin his race. That's probably not the best thing to admit in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we go. So Mitch showing an absolutely dominant performance. It's a shame that I missed half of it, including the qualifying, but really cementing himself as the winner of this Canadian Grand Prix.
Yeah, he was pretty dominant in Portimao and bottled it towards the end. But I mean, today we saw no bottles from him, and I mean, look at that fastest lap. It's so much faster than anyone else. So
oh yeah, Bumblebee really getting himself up there. This championship fight is really going to be heating up now.
It is indeed. So Mitch takes the win of the Canadian Grand Prix with Rick in P2, and Madman rounds out the podium and will take the championship lead after today. Bumblebee in P4 will be level on points and fastest lap. LB in 5th on a track that's not one of his favourites, so a good drive from him. One wing in P6. The two Alfa Romeos will take the constructors lead. Hartman in P7. QB a good drive to P8. TTV Max and Schweizer round out the top 10 with Emiliano in P11, just about getting classified. James McCrow and Crozer, KTFO, Pommy Alex and Harry Bix all out of the race. Nil Poir again for McLaren, unfortunately, but you'll get them next time, boys.
Yeah, that is a real shame for McLaren. I know how it feels to have a seasons of just horrible races. I mean, I've never not scored points, so I can't quite speak on that, but I have had plenty of times where I've crashed, thinking of the first race of Tier 1, where I crashed in the lead of the race.
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
Yeah, that wasn't my finest hour, but yeah, I'm just having a look at the standings now, and yeah, 1 point between Harass, Bumblebee and Ollie Oliver and LB.
Yeah.
Harass will be kicking him, the defending champion will be kicking himself, missing today's race, as he is going to lose a hefty chunk of points to the guys he will be fighting with.
Yeah, he is indeed. But yeah, it's been a chaotic race in Canada, but one I've enjoyed commentating on, and I'm glad to have you towards the end, Sumo.
I'm always happy to be here.
Yeah, don't forget to check out Positive Perception Media Design Products. They do fantastic liveries for GT cars, and definitely worth your time and a follow on their Instagram page. But yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. This has been Tier 2. We'll be back next week. What's the track next week? Let me have a quick look. It's gonna be Spain, so... Or Cars in the Wall at turn 2, maybe?
At turn 2, at turn 9, at turn 7, at turn 11. They'll be everywhere.
Horrible track.
It is indeed.
But yeah, we'll be back next week for Spain. But yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. I've been Ghost.
And I have been Sumo for half of this time.
And we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Ta-ra.